It is 9 o'clock. It is almost 9 o'clock. It's 8:59. We're not running on CP time.
No.
You should use a hashtag first in your topic so you can tweet the hashtag. So yeah, I got you. I do her power plays usually, and this week I just totally spazzed and didn't. So now every time I tweet it out, I've been tweeting it out with the her power plays hashtag. Yeah, you're absolutely right, Alan. I just spazzed out today. It's been a crazy week, to say the least. But how her power plays is actually the hashtag that we use. And sometimes while we're going, people will use the we all win, because that's something that, that's part of our community. It is 9 o'clock. Welcome to Her Power Plays. My name is Michelle Talbert. I am the host of the Her Power Hustle podcast, where inspiration meets motivation to empower you for the perspiration associated with being a woman entrepreneur. Tonight is our final Her Power Plays of 2015. I should have had some sound, right? Some sound effects. Her Power Hustle, Her Power, the Her Power brand is an extension of our community of women entrepreneurs who are all working together to empower one another in our businesses, to get the information that we need, the resources we need, the tools that we need. Her Power Hustle, the podcast, was born in February of 2015 with a goal and a dream that I was able to bring the information, the tools, the resources that women entrepreneurs need to help their businesses soar from a holistic perspective. As I've said, we have the Her Power Plays hashtag tonight that we are using, because that is part of our speaker series. But Her Power is all about empowering one another, finding the answers we need, getting the resources we need right within our own communities. So like I said, I am Michelle Talbert. I am the host of the Her Power Hustle podcast, the founder of the Her Power movement. And tonight we are doing our final Her Power Plays of December with none other than Courtney Herring. Courtney, I am so excited about this opportunity to chat with you on video. We've collaborated on other interviews. We've done the podcast together. We've written articles for Black Enterprise together. Courtney Herring is like my friend, my collaborator, my business BFF, and just everything. She was recently actually traveling in East Africa, and I was like, girl, I need you. And I realized at that moment, as she was at 4 a.m. in her hotel room messaging with me about business issues, and it was just like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I would do without Courtney. That was that moment. But I'm going to read her official bio because she is just my girl, and I'm just so excited, and she has so much information to share with us tonight. Courtney Herring is a digital marketing strategist who is here to inspire coaches, authors, speakers, and influencers to turn their expertise into even more profits. She provides marketing, social advertising, and copywriting strategies for entrepreneurs to get to their next brilliant idea out of their heads and launched into the online marketplace. I can speak personally. Courtney helped me launch the Her Power platform program, which was very successful a few months back, where I help women expand their platforms in social and in real life interactions and networking. And Courtney was integral to the successful launch of the Her Power platform program in its inaugural phase. You can follow her marketing adventures and shenanigans on Twitter and Facebook, and she'll be giving that information out as well. Like I said, Courtney is incredible, and she's going to share all of her information. She has definitely Alan, right? She has an incredible bio, and she actually is going to just launch right in. Welcome, Cocoa Pie Clothing. We are so happy to see all of you here. Courtney, welcome.
Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here, Michelle. When you asked me to be a part of the Her Power Plays series, I was just elated because I have so much good information to share. And I know that 2016 is almost upon us. We're a little over a week away. And I know that a lot of the resolutions and goals that people have, a lot of us as entrepreneurs, we want to take our marketing to the next level. And we want to, reach more people and create more meaningful relationships and snag more clients and customers. So I'm excited to get started tonight. And I cannot wait to share with you everything that I have.
And I'm so excited to have you here. And I just want to let folks know that Courtney actually helped me launch my first Facebook and Instagram campaign right before she left for Africa, as I was launching the herpowerless.biz, which is my new startup for women entrepreneurs. And I tell you, the conversions that she made, the help that she gave was invaluable, because it was just like, you can't make heads or tails of all of the Facebook changes and all of the different ways to advertise. So it was just really, truly a blessing to have Courtney. So for some of you, you already know that she has a Facebook group, Facebook Ads on FLEEK, and I'm going to drop the link to that as soon as I stop talking and Courtney begins talking, so that you can follow that group, because it's an incredible group on Facebook where everyone shares great information, but it's most importantly, Courtney shares great information to help us to be successful. So Courtney, I'm going to go ahead and let you take it away. If you want me to jump in, I'm going to go ahead and moderate questions, and you let us know if you want to take questions as they're coming, or if you want to, save that to the end. We'll follow your lead on however you'd like to do that.
Okay. Well, I have 6 awesome secrets to really creating campaigns on FLEEK, campaigns that are, will render you crazy conversions. So I don't want to necessarily repeat myself. Because I have so much stuff to give you guys, and I want to be respectful of your time. These are the holidays. It's Christmas week. So I will be answering all your questions at the very end. Does that sound good? Okay. So Facebook ads have become a sore spot for a lot of us online entrepreneurs. And when it comes to Facebook ads, you're probably in one of 2 camps. I know that I was before I really dipped my toe into the Facebook pond, and now I can't get enough. So either you think it's a super complicated, utterly confusing secret society that's shrouded in mystery, that's too complex and too confusing to even try. And you think it's an evil place that masochists pay for their marketing efforts to die, right? People log into the ads manager and they're like, what? But we all know the power of Facebook. I mean, everyone here uses it daily. And so it's just a wonderful platform to have a captive audience if done right. So, there are times where I have been like, screw it with ad campaigns, and I wanted to drown out my sorrows with a Netflix marathon and a pint of ice cream, but I kept testing ads. I kept taking courses, kept reading up on all the changes, because Facebook changes it feels like every other week. And I've spoken to so many people who want to take their businesses to the next level using Facebook ads, because dropping links into your Facebook groups that you're a part of, and I know Facebook groups are a really strong marketing strategy for a lot of people, but it's not always sustainable. So I know that some people are tired and fed up of doing that same thing, and of just continuously tapping their own networks. So Facebook ads is a great way to really expand your reach. So but I also know that testing is a pain in the butt. When things go wrong, you're like, I don't even know what to fix. I've already spent my coins. I'm done. I'm over it. You turn to sweet brown. You just don't have time for this. And it turns into this overwhelming thing, and you get discouraged. Well, tonight, hopefully, my goal is to take away some of that mystery, take away some of that confusion and frustration, so that you can take your marketing to the next level. You can automate your marketing. You can drive crazy traffic to your websites, and get crazy opt-ins, leads, and ultimately sales, because sales cure all. I don't care what it is. You can have massive likes, massive shares, massive comments on your blog posts and on the content that you share, but ultimately, in order to stay in business, sales cure all. So that's why I wanted to share with you these 6 secrets to killer Facebook campaigns. Now, the first one is something that's foundational, that I really, it's really at the foundation of marketing in general, and that is making sure that your targeting is on point. Now, Michelle, I know that you have heard me talk about this ad nauseum, but it's so important to make sure that your targeting is on point. And when I say targeting, let me ask a question. Do you know what your ideal customer's name is. Do you have a name for them? If you do, say yes in the comments for me. Yes, Michelle says yes, she has a name for her ideal customer. If you don't, you need to. And the reason why I say that is because you're reaching people, and people are multidimensional human beings. They have interests, they have pain points, they have challenges, they have desires. And so it's really, really important to make sure that you are really laser targeted. You're very intentional and very focused on only the people that you want to reach. That's important when it comes to using Facebook ads. Because honestly, if your target audience if you consider your target audience to be single, African American female who is interested in personal development, that's far too broad. I'm here to tell you that is not going to work when it comes to Facebook ads. You have to be very, very specific. And so this is one of the secrets to Facebook ad success, and success meaning conversions, opt-ins, and traffic. So it's important to know exactly who you're talking to, and not knowing your market like the back of your hand is really like showing up in the wrong room, talking to the wrong people. Meanwhile, the folks who could really use what you're selling, they don't even know you exist. So again, making sure that you know exactly who your audience is. And I would urge anybody, if you're even a little bit fuzzy, there are a couple of things that you can do to do this. You can do target market interviews. I think that is one of the best ways, is just to talk to people who are on your email list. Talk to them about their challenges. Talk to them about what they really, really want. Because guess what? As experts, a lot of times we have an idea of what people may want from us, and then we offer that, but we kind of do it in a vacuum. So, and it's not always the same. It doesn't always look the same for the people we're trying to target, because as experts, we're up here, and the people who need what we have, they're hovering somewhere here. And if you're talking over their heads, it's not going to connect. So I urge you to really do an in-depth target market interviews if you have not already. But one of the good ways, one good way to do this, to find where your target market is hanging out on Facebook, is to use the Facebook search. Facebook is a search engine. I'm not sure if you guys knew that. But you can type in phrases like, if you want to target pages that people in your market follow, like influencers and things like that. So get somebody in your mind that's part of your target market, and you can say pages that insert name here likes, and the pages that they like will come up, and you'll see, oh my goodness, they follow Michael Hyatt, or oh my gosh, they follow Pat Flynn, or oh my goodness, they like Entrepreneur Magazine, they like Inc. Magazine. These are the ways to really make sure that your targeting is on point when you do your Facebook ads, because you can have the best copy, the best images, the best offer, but if your ads are not targeted to the right people, it doesn't matter. You're going to be wasting a lot of time, a lot of money, and encountering a lot of frustration. And another thing that I wanted to touch on, and then I'll move on to the second secret, is understanding that marketing is about both attracting and repelling. So Facebook ads is good for this, because not only can you reach millions of people, Facebook has 1 billion monthly active users. 1 billion with a B monthly active users. But that doesn't mean you have to target them all. So one way that you can make your ads effective is making sure is when you do your targeting and you go into the ads manager and you see the various demographics, and also we call the psychographics, right? The interests. So demographics are age, gender, location. Psychographics, this is what really makes Facebook ads stand out from the rest, because you can target both demographics and psychographics. And psychographics are, things that interests that people follow, right? It could be marketing, it could be social media, it could be Oprah, it could be Gary Vaynerchuk, it can be all those kinds of people. But when you're sitting and you're trying to make sure that your targeting is reaching the people that you only want to reach, ask yourself, who is someone or what is something that only my market would know? So say, for instance, if you are a success coach and you want to reach women between the ages of 25 and 44, the obvious choice would be to to target a page like Oprah, the people who like Oprah's page. But that is a flawed, an incomplete way to kind of target, because there are people who like Oprah, but may not have a desire to necessarily better their lives in the way that you're trying to help them better their lives, right? So think about someone or something that your market would only know. And so that's one way to really make sure that your target market is defined. All right. So the second secret is building relationships first. Now, Facebook ads are a great way to help you sell more stuff. You know, whether you're a service-based business or whether you are a product-based business, Facebook ads, you know, they can help you really skyrocket your sales. But I think a lot of the problem that I see with people who want to start using Facebook ads is that they want to jump out and start selling stuff immediately. And while that eagerness is great, you can't necessarily do that. You can't necessarily decide that your first ad is going to lead to a sales page, and then you're going to get all of these crazy sales for a $5 ad. It doesn't work like that. There's levels to this, right? So you have to first establish a relationship with the people that you're targeting first before you try to sell out of the gate. So because I like to always tell people that in order to help temper their expectations of Facebook ads, and prevent them from becoming disappointed and ultimately discouraged from using the platform. So I hear people who want to dip their toe into the Facebook pond and they're not seeing ROI because they're starting out, you know, trying to get to home base before they even are at bat. Right? So they skip the foreplay phase and they want to go in straight for the ask. And that's not how it works. So the secret to creating ad campaigns that convert or that are on FLEEK is to make sure that your ads appear at the appropriate time in the relationship between you and your prospect. Because most of the time, you know, the problem is that whole relationship building phase has been skipped, you know, and so you're going from 0 to 100 too quick without building the like, know, and trust factor. That's right. Marvelous hard. You have to know, people who buy from businesses and people, they buy from people they like, know, and trust. And using Facebook ads to garner sales or leads is no different. And so another reason why this is important is because we have to remember that we're dealing with social platforms first. So Facebook and now Instagram, now we can do Instagram ads, yay, are social platforms. And folks already feel a way about advertising interrupting their experiences. They already are not here for our ads. Let's just face it. People don't log on to Facebook or Instagram to see ads. They log on to be social. They log on to see who just got engaged, who got a new baby, who's on a fabulous vacation jumping in the sands of the Indian Ocean like I was a couple weeks ago. You know, they don't log on to see, oh, download this awesome template for X, Y, and Z, or, you know, buy into my awesome Done With You program. No, they don't do that. So, and I'll talk more about this later, but just know that it's important to add value first before you go in for the ask. So selling right out of the gate is a bad idea because it will cost you wasted time and money, and your ads won't convert. They won't. Just trust me on this. Don't try it. They won't do it. They won't convert. Because you have to warm people up to you first. And you know, I won't get in the weeds of talking about retargeting and all that stuff, but just understand that if you are new to the Facebook ads game, understand that you have to offer a piece of high value content first, drive traffic to your site, and make sure you have a pixel on your site. And I've written many blog posts about this. And if you're interested in learning more about what I'm talking about, if everything is like Greek to you, just make sure that you join my Facebook group, because I drop all kinds of knowledge about this stuff continuously, daily. But you can retarget those same folks and make sure that your ads are ultimately successful. And so the best thing that you can do to ensure your success, depending on your goals, is to create a series of low friction touch points or ads that are targeted to the right audience, so you can make the most of your ad spend and your efforts. So, like I said, that might look like offering a piece of high value content to people you think could and would appreciate it. Then maybe offering those same people who decided to visit your site something to download so you can capture their information, right? So they can get on your list. And then finally, once they're on your list, you can nurture that relationship. So, which makes them now a lead. Now that's a lead, so that you can present your offer to them, one that they will be more likely to buy, because now guess what? They like, know, and trust you. So the third secret is, since we're talking about offers, the third secret is you have to make sure that your offer is something people will actually want. Okay, so this is why knowing your target market is so important. And that's why I started off with that, you know, as the first tip, because if you don't know your market, you shouldn't be doing Facebook ads, period, because you will be wasting a lot of money and a lot of time, because you're going to be talking to the wrong people in the wrong rooms, and it's just going to be frustrating. So what you want to do is think about the pain points of your market. Think about their deepest desires, and not just the superficial stuff, but think about how they feel about their problems, okay? How they feel about, you know, where they are versus where they want to be, and how you can get them there. And then give them something that will act as a step on the journey to helping them take away that huge pain. So for instance, if you're a branding expert who specializes in, say, graphic design and the aesthetics, you know, that go along with branding, you may want to bridge the chasm between where your prospect is now and where they want to be by offering them, and depending on where they are in your sales funnel, but it can be anything from like a valuable blog post, like, hey, here are the colors that really convert, or this is what colors mean, you know, in sales, to a downloadable template that comes in, you know, during the clutch. So, hey, you know, do you know all the dimensions or the sizes of the posts that you need to make on social media? So do you know the sizes that are necessary for Facebook, for Twitter, and all that other stuff? And then ultimately maybe even a course that teaches them how to increase their visibility and attract high profile clients, or high value clients, or high profile online exposure. So if your offer, I say all that to say is that if your offer is not up to snuff, there's no amount of Facebook ad magic that will make it appealing enough to your audience. Because again, you know, you have to add value. And if you're adding value, then that will really set the stage for you to create a positive relationship, a nurturing relationship, so that you can ultimately gain more clients and more customers. I'm going to take a sip here. Excuse me.
And if folks have questions, if you want to start teeing up your questions, you can type /Q in the in the status bar down there, and it'll pop over here so that we can easily see your questions. Courtney will be taking questions at the end. And for those of you who have just joined, thank you so much for joining. This is Her Power Plays, hosted by Michelle Talbert. That's me. And tonight we are hosting Courtney Herring, who is the curator of the Facebook Ads on FLEEK group on Facebook. And she is in the middle, literally at the midway point of sharing her 6 juicy secrets for creating Facebook ad campaigns on FLEEK. Thank you for joining us.
So the 4th secret is, and I'm biased to this is one of my favorite secrets because I'm a copywriter, is making sure that you speak the language of your target market, not your industry. I'll explain what I mean by that in just a moment. So I'm not saying that only as a copywriter. I'm saying it because it's true, and I've seen it work over and over again. Your ad copy has to be compelling, has to be conversational, and it has to be relevant. Save the wit for a long form blog post or an email marketing sequence, but you have to be clear because you only have a few moments to capture your prospect's attention in your ad. So in order for this to be so, again, you have to know your audience. It all goes back to point number 1, knowing your audience, knowing the words and the phrases that they use most, which is why I'm a huge advocate of getting on the phone with people from your target market and asking them questions about, their struggles, their goals, their deepest desires, because they're going to start giving you words and phrases that you can use. And once people can see that, the words and phrases that they use they're being reflected in the ads that they're being shown, they're more likely to click, which means that you're more likely to get a conversion. So make sure that you're using the words that your market uses to describe their problems and to describe their goals and their visions, not the words and phrases that the experts in your industries use, because those could be completely foreign to your prospects and ultimately to your customers. You don't want to alienate the people who you're trying to connect with. You want to connect. And the way to do that is to talk to them. Make sure that your ad copy is compelling. So and again, the reason why it's compelling and conversational, and I harp on the conversational piece, is because we are on social media. People are social, okay? So you're not writing a dissertation, you're not writing a white paper, you're not you're not doing any of those things. You're talking to people who you want to connect with and who you want to ultimately serve. And so they log on to be social, not to be sold to. So you want to make sure that your ad captures their attention. And one way I like to do this immediately is to call out your prospect in the ad copy, because again, marketing is about both attraction and repelling the people that you don't want. Like if people who are clicking on your ad are not the people that are ultimately going to buy from you down the line, the clicks are vanity metrics. What you ultimately want are people who will engage with you and who will take you up on your offers. So making sure that your copy is compelling, conversational, and relevant and timely, right? We're in the holiday season. So if you're running ads now, you might want to be talking about Christmas or the holidays, right? Because not everybody celebrates Christmas. And 2016, coming up on us and all those things. Because it's almost like reaching through the computer screen and grabbing them by the lapels to let them know that you're talking to them and to no one else. You want to make the person who encounters your ad in their desktop newsfeed or on Instagram while they're scrolling through or on the sidebar, you want to make them feel like you're talking to them and only them, right? And so one way to do this is by posing a question that gets to the heart of their pain, their struggles, or their ultimate desire. So an example of this could be, would you like to learn, insert something that your market really wants without big objection that your market has for free? So, all right, would you like to learn how to create compelling Facebook ads that convert without wasting all your money for free? That's something that would appeal to my target market. because I'm calling out people who want to take their marketing to the next level, who don't know what to do with their Facebook ads, but they also don't want to waste a whole lot of time. So that way you're qualifying your prospects. So copy is hugely, hugely important. And again, it doesn't have to be a long form blog post. I've seen both long and short copy. And there are experts who suggest, short, long, whatever. But ultimately, it lies with you to test because Facebook ads is all about testing. It's testing. Very rarely are you going to hit a home run right out of the gate with Facebook ads, because the things that you think are going to work probably don't, and the things that you probably think aren't going to work probably do. So that's one of the frustrating and fun things about Facebook ads, is that you have to test. But there are things that you can do to really move that process along. So the fifth secret that I have for you is to make sure that the rest of your marketing and sales funnel is optimized. So we talked about making sure that your offer is up to snuff, making sure that your offer is something that people want. But you can have the best Facebook ad ever with the best copy, the best image, best everything, best targeting, everything. But if people click on your ad and it looks like something totally, and your landing page looks like something totally different from what your ad looks like, you might lose people. That's a conversion killer. Okay, it's a silent conversion killer. I've heard people say, man, my target is on point. I even have a custom audience, which is people who have visited my site before, who I know that they want what I have, or they're on my email list, and I know that they're targeted the right way. I know my ad copy is doing well because I'm getting a lot of likes, a lot of shares, a lot of comments on my Facebook ad, my post, or my video. But I'm seeing the clicks, but I'm not seeing the conversions. And the reason why you're probably ultimately not seeing the conversions, the opt-ins, the registrations for webinar trainings, etc., is because the rest of your marketing and sales funnel probably is not optimized. And the reason why I talk about a funnel is because it goes back to that point I made about creating a relationship and creating various low friction touch points to get to your market. So your first ad might be a blog post that's some of your best content. The next ad may be a free download so that you can get that information from them and start nurturing that relationship. The next ad may be for a webinar training that you're doing for free. And the next ad might be for ultimately advertising a course, or advertising a free consult with you, or something like that, to ultimately close that person as either a client or a customer. So you have to make sure that your sales funnel, that your landing pages are on point. And it does not have to necessarily take a lot of effort. It does take a lot of testing sometimes though. But one of the best things that one of the best tools that I like to use, and I know Michelle, you use this too, is lead pages, because there are ready-made templates for you. Whether you're leading people to a sales page, whether you're leading people to a webinar registration page, they have all kinds of templates for you to choose from that are proven. They have tested these things over and over, and they're proven to create conversions. And so it's really, really, it's super, super important that people understand the continuity between your ad and where you ultimately want them to land. And I always use the example of, and I hope nobody in here is, no shade to people who are in multi-level marketing, but it's like people who are like in multi-level marketing, some multi-level marketing organizations. I've had friends who are like, ask me how you can do this, or you should be here with like the World Venture stuff. And, they say that they are throwing a party, a get together at their house, when really when you get there, it's a pitch for you to become part of their network. That's exactly that's a conversion killer, right? You just lost me when I walked in and I'm seeing, a PowerPoint presentation. You told me this was going to be a party. So you have to make sure that people are getting, you're giving people what you promised them in your ad. Again, no shade to people who are in multi-level marketing networks and organizations, but that's how I liken the silent conversion killer with Facebook ads, is with people who are like, hey, come to my house, woo, we're gonna have fun. And then, next thing you know, you've signed up, you paid $150 to become a part of somebody's network. So make sure that your marketing and sales funnel is optimized, because you don't want to waste time and you don't want to waste money. Now, finally, the last tip I have is all of these things. If you have all of these things in place, I want you to give your ads a chance to be great. And the way that you do that is by investing. Now, you don't have to invest a whole lot of money at the beginning. You can start off your Facebook ads with as little as $5 a day, $10 a day, $15 a day, whatever you can afford. But give your ads a chance to be great. Because what I noticed is, if you're not investing, no money, no problems, right? So you might have a wonderful ad that ultimately leads to an awesome offer. But if you're not putting enough money behind the ad so that enough people will see it and it will reach enough people, then your ad is not going to convert. It's not going to reach enough people to convert, period. So I always like to start off with between $10 to $15 a day so that I can get the metrics that I need to test and to see whether this ad is going to be a hit or not, and then make adjustments from there. Now, $5 can do it, but the data that you'll get, you'll notice, is it will be a little bit slower. It'll take maybe about anywhere from 48 to 72 hours to really get the metrics that you need to determine whether the ad is successful. So that's why I like to start off with between $10 to $15 a day. But I ultimately say, whatever you decide to invest, don't be a cheapskate. Really invest in your ads and give them a chance to flourish. Give them a chance to reach the people that you want to reach, and then, make adjustments. Again, Facebook ad success is about testing. I cannot say that enough. It's about testing. And there was someone in my group that mentioned today that, she's not getting a lot of bang for her buck with the Facebook ad game. And I'm not sure if Facebook really doesn't like people who don't invest in their ads. They like big spenders, clearly, because that's how Facebook is monetized. But there are ways to do it, and which is why I always start off with a small amount first before you scale. Which means that before you start saying, okay, $100 a day, you want to make sure that that ad works and that it's converting and it's doing what it's supposed to do. So those are all the tips that I have for you. Hopefully that, they were helpful. I tried to hit on all of the major things that I encountered when I was testing ads and really trying to get to know the Facebook platform and all the things that I wish I would have known before I wasted hundreds of dollars with very little return on my investment. So we can open it up with questions, Michelle, if you like.
Yeah, I actually want you to please say your 6 secrets once again. Just say them each.
Okay. So again, just to recap,
right.
The first secret is making sure that your ad targeting is on point. And ultimately, that means knowing your target market intimately, knowing their wants, desires, their fears, and their frustrations. The second secret is making sure that you're building relationships with the people first before you're asking them for a sale. So you want to add value first by, giving high value content like blog posts, videos, things of that nature, downloads, and then ultimately nurturing the relationship so that you can close the sale, because Facebook and Instagram are social platforms, and people log on to them to be social. The next the next secret is making sure that your offer is something that people actually want. Understanding exactly what your market wants so that you can cater to that, and so that you can set yourself up and your ads up for success. The fourth point, the fourth secret is making sure that your ad copy speaks the language of your target market. You're speaking their language, not the language that is predominant in your industry. So you want your ads to connect, the copy to connect and be conversational and be relevant and not go over their heads. The fifth point is making sure that the rest of your marketing and sales funnel is optimized. Like I said before, your ads can be the best targeted ads. They can be, the copy on them can be amazing, and the images can be very compelling. But if the rest of your marketing and sales funnel, or the pages that you're having people land on, if they're not optimized and optimized for mobile, let me say that too. I forgot to say that, but we are going into a mobile first user interface. If your web pages are not optimized for mobile web pages, right, and to be in trouble for 2016 and beyond, I guarantee it. Trust me on this. There are articles out of the woozah about this. Making sure that that the rest of your marketing sales funnel is optimized for mobile, because the majority of Facebook users are actually on mobile. And finally, the last point is giving your ads a chance to really be great by investing. So invest wisely, but invest generously.
Great, thank you. And we do have some questions. That was really great,
Yay!
Courtney.
I'm gonna plug up my laptop because I'm going dead here.
I know. I was going to say you're starting to get a little sketchy there.
Am I?
Mm-hmm.
Oh,
it was just a second.
Okay.
So, question for you though, with regard to investing, talk a little bit about boosting a post.
Oh.
Because I think that a lot of times when we look at our dollars spent, that we think maybe we'll get a better bang for our buck by boosting a post that seems to be doing well or something like that. So talk to us just a little bit about the difference between boosting a post versus an ad.
So boosting a post, there are really a couple ways to do that. And boosting a post, you can either just boost it by like hitting boost and just doing like the $5, $10 or however much you want to spend. And then your and then your post will reach more of the people who are connected to your fan page. That's way number one to boost. Way number two is to boost through targeting. And that is basically choosing the people, being a little bit more like customizing the audience a little bit more for that boosted post. Now, there are a few things. Okay, so that's boosting a post. Doing a sponsored post, or what we call, us marketers who were back in the day, dark posts. Those are posts that show up in the timeline, in the Facebook timeline. When you're scrolling through your timeline and you see a sponsored post, that is what it is. It's not a boosted post. A boosted post is something totally different. And I'm actually an advocate of sponsored posts because you have more options. You have more targeting options. You have more budgeting options. You have more scheduling options, right? You can choose when you want your post to appear, when you want it to stop, if you want it to stop, if you want it to be ongoing. So I personally like sponsored posts, but I know that people, have kind of dipped their toe into Facebook advertising through boosted posts. And I've been reading and really researching, and people, experts really say that you don't get as much ROI from a boosted post as you do a sponsored post, because there are limitations to that boosted post, right? But if you do decide to boost a post, because you have to start somewhere, and if that's where you're comfortable with starting, then understand these few things. If you're going to boost a post, make sure that the content that you're boosting is yours.
I did that once, and it was the dumbest thing. I drove all this traffic to someone else's
Yeah, drive
page.
traffic
I
to your
wasn't
website. Like,
thinking. Yeah.
start there, okay? And make
Right.
sure that the content that you're boosting is yours. Make sure that it's high value content. Make sure it's like some of the best stuff that you have, right? And then make sure that there is a way for you to capture that person who lands on that content. Make sure you capture their information. So whether it's at the end of the blog post, like you offer a way for them to get on your email list, make sure that there's ultimately something that they can do to take a next step with you. Because the last thing that you want to do is have them come from that boosted post onto your content and bounce right off. I mean, if you have a pixel on your site, you'll get the data anyway, and you'll be able to retarget. But it's better to have them on your list so that you can nurture that relationship and ultimately make a sale, get a consultation, book them as a client, so on and so forth. So that's kind of my 2 cents on it. There are a lot of articles about it. I know Social Media Examiner talks a lot about the difference between boosting a post and sponsoring a post. Digital Marketer talks about a lot about it. And just kind of from what I've seen with results and ROI, sponsoring a post is a bit better.
Gotcha. Thank you. So we're going to answer Michelle Hayward's question and Marvelous Hard. Is it best for newbies to start with a survey or discussion with their ideal target market?
It depends on what results you want to get. You can do both. There's nothing that says you can't do both. Now, if you do a survey, just know that the survey should be like 10 questions or less. And a lot of the questions should be, either yes or no, or they should be like multiple choice, because people hate filling out surveys. So the last thing that you want to do is have a survey full of like 10 essay questions, because you're not going to get any answers. So you'll probably want to include like 1 or 2 questions that are like free form, that are open-ended, that just you give them space to kind of express themselves. But honestly, if you're like crunched on time, if you really want to get the most for your efforts, get on the phone with them. Try to get a discussion with them. And ideally, between 15 to 20 people, because you'll be surprised. People love to talk about themselves, number one.
That's for
and
sure.
And just make sure, because people are not dumb, right? This online game has gotten intense, and we have reached a peak where people are fatigued with content. They kind of are on the defense because they feel like you're going to sell them something. So make sure that when you get in contact with people who you think are in your ideal market, make sure you say, you know what, there's going to be absolutely no sales pitch at the end of this. I just want to learn more about you and how I can help, ease one of your struggles, your challenges, or get you closer to one of your goals. So make sure that is the preface. That is the foundation of you, and just ask for about 20 to 30 minutes of their time to ask them some very pointed questions. And honestly, and you do that just to kind of get them on the phone. Like, hey, it's not gonna be an hour-long discussion, but you'll find most people will go on and on and on if you let them.
It's so interesting. I just did this for her power list because, we had our marketing was sort of in a way that it's a directory. It's an online business directory for women entrepreneurs, but it was sort of convoluted in that were people joining for the directory or were they joining for the community? Because her power is such a strong branded community as well of women entrepreneurs. So Michelle, actually to follow up on, Michelle with one L. Michelle, to follow up on your question that you're now asking about, should we record the call? Yes, what I did was I sent an email to all of my paying customers and said, hey, do you have 5 minutes or 10 minutes to jump on the phone with me? And if they didn't, I then sent them a link to 3 very short open-ended questions on SurveyMonkey. But amazingly, most of them opted to jump on the phone, which actually surprised me. And Michelle Powers in the house house here, even a swirl girl, she jumped on the phone with me and gave me such valuable information. And yes, when I did jump on the phone with them, I did record those conversations because that's great to go back to. Absolutely. I used, conference call software so that I could go ahead and record the conversation so that I could have that information to refer back to. Now that we're brainstorming, okay, going into 2016, how do we tighten up? Exactly, Michelle Power. How do we tighten up our marketing message? So exactly what Courtney is saying, I definitely walk it out.
Yeah, and just to add one more thing, when you get on the phone with people, because you're talking, you can get a lot more out of people when you're on the phone than when they're typing, because the very thought of like typing out your deepest desires and your frustrations. I mean, you have a whole backstory. Like people have a story, and that's what you want to capture when you're talking to them on the phone. And you'll find that when you do 15, 20 or more of these interviews, that you'll see themes come up. You'll see phrases that'll come up, and that's copywriting, ad copy gold. So I'm really an advocate of getting on the phone with people.
Yeah, because that's that language. You're going to speak back to people in the language that they share with you. I mean, it's perfect for mining for copy. It's perfect because you use the words that they use. It speaks right to their pain points and right to their concerns directly in their language. The next question Michelle had, if anyone has any questions and if anyone wants to jump into the open seat, we're here at Her Power Plays. We have about 10 more minutes with Courtney Herring. Ms. Courtney Herring, Facebook ads on FLEEK. She said, Michelle wanted to know, do you have any feedback on ConvertKit? Have you used that?
I have not. I am on the creator of ConvertKit's email list, and he always is very generous with the information that he gives. So, I've heard great things about ConvertKit. Again, I have not used it myself, but if that's something that you're wanting to try, give it a go. I think that I'm an advocate of, not spending too much time on tools, but instead spending more of your time on strategy and testing. Do something. As long as you're doing something and learning from it, that's what's important. The tools can really be almost interchangeable.
The thing, Courtney, that, with the testing, I think that I'm glad that you said give your ads a chance to be great. But I think a lot of us are just nervous about how do we make sure that we're getting the return. And when we don't see, that return, to jump out very quickly, because those dollars add up, $5, $10, $15 a day that's real money. And if you're not getting a return, can you speak to us a bit about how do we sort of, I guess, mitigate the losses? What are your thoughts about course correcting to make sure that we're not overspending?
Well, one thing I like to do is for the first couple of days that my ads are up, I watch them like a hawk. And I wait until I get about 1,000 impressions on my ads, and then I look at the metrics. Before then,
okay.
Sometimes I get nervous and I'm like, oh, I want to turn this ad off because it's not doing good. And I have 500 impressions and it's not doing good. But, that ad could turn around just like that. So my advice is to be a little patient. The threshold for me, and I know for a lot of other experts, is 1,000 impressions. And then once you get 1,000 impressions, look at your metrics and determine whether or not you want to move forward with that ad as is, or you can turn that ad off, pause it, and make some tweaks to it, with testing and things like that. So you're not wasting a lot of time and a lot of money. And getting up to about 1,000 impressions, you'd probably spend at most $10 a day. So, per ad. So you're not for like, probably like depending on how much money you start off with at first, between 24 to 48 hours. You'll get that information pretty quickly.
Okay. And that goes to Michelle Calloway just asked that question. How much time should we give an ad?
Yeah. So, and honestly, you want to give your ad, between 24 and 48 hours to see what it does, see how it performs. But also understand that you don't want to have the same ads out for too long, because people get what they call banner blindness, and so people will scroll through your ads, and basically it's like they've never seen them, because it's the same image that they've seen before, same copy, same everything, and so it'll just kind of be more subconscious to them than something that's like, oh, I need to act on that, or oh, I need to click on that. And another thing too is when you're starting out with your ads, start out, if you have a tight budget, start out with per CPC, clicks. So optimize for clicks, not necessarily impressions. And the reason is because when people click on your ad, that's the only time that you're going to pay for it if you optimize for clicks. If you optimize for impressions, Facebook is going to spend that money like it's like you're there in Las Vegas and you're at the craps table, okay? They want to spend that budget quickly. And before you know it, you're like, oh my gosh, I've reached my budget and it's not really doing what I need to do. So if you're really budget conscious, try testing out your ads using optimizing for clicks first.
And I think that you answered Vicky's question, but just to go to it again, and actually I have an add-on question to that. Vicky's question is, how long should you run your ads in general? And my question was, I didn't realize, and I guess I should know this because now that I think about it, I have seen the same ads. I thought that there was a way that you can keep the same ads from appearing more than 3 times in people's, because I think I heard 2 or 3, and people will begin to actually sometimes flag you as abusive. So can you control that within Facebook in terms of how many times they show your ad to any one viewer? Or is it sort of a crapshoot, and that's why you need to take it down after a certain number of days? Well,
within the native Facebook ad platform, it's more of a crapshoot, but you'll have what they call a frequency. When you look at your analytics, you'll see the frequency, and you don't want your frequency to go above 3 or 4. And frequency is exactly what you're talking about, Michelle. The number of times that same person has seen your ad in their timeline. And so, but there are third-party ad platforms that you can use to control and rotate your ads, because sometimes it's not necessarily about changing the whole ad itself. Sometimes it's about changing the image so that people see something different, because the image actually does 75 to 80% of the work of your ad, right? So if you change that image, then it's almost like a new ad for that person, because Facebook is very, very heavy on the visuals, and we connect with things visually first. And so there are third-party platforms called Quaya, Qwaya.
How do you?
There's Adespresso, Adespresso. And I don't advise people to use those right out of the gate because they're very expensive. And those are really for power users, like people who have clients that they do ads on the behalf of. So basically like agencies, because they're hundreds of dollars a month to use. But they do have, there is something out there where you can control the rotation and the frequency. But for people who, are doing it themselves, I suggest kind of just keeping an eye on it yourself and doing it manually in the native Facebook ad platform.
Do any of you have any other questions for Courtney or for me or anything you want to jump in and see? Adespresso is expensive, more for power users. Thank you, Michelle. We got some serious Michelle power going on.
I see that Cocoa Pie Clothing has a question. She says, is there data set insight around ideal days or times to run ads? It really depends on your market, because you can advertise all over the world. You can advertise to people all over the globe. So you'll want to be mindful of the time zones there in different places in the United States, right? Because there's a significant amount of time between Eastern Standard Time and Pacific Time. And also, if you're advertising places in the UK, you want to make sure that your ads are being shown during high peak times. And really, experts suggest that you kind of do ads during the week, and during kind of like normal business hours, normal working hours, daytime. When people are more likely to be on the app, or on Facebook.com, on their desktop, not at like 3 o'clock or 4 o'clock in the morning, because very rarely is somebody up unless they're a night owl. And you won't necessarily get the ROI or the conversions that you'll want.
Katie Ma just said, Courtney's group
Thank
is amazing.
you.
I did drop the link again. Again, it's Facebook ads on FLEEK. I'll drop the link again. You can share it. Does anyone have any final questions for Courtney? And Courtney, do you have any final words of encouragement or advice? Definitely encouragement when it comes to Facebook ads. Let me tell you.
Guys, I can't emphasize enough that you put all of these tips that I've given you to work, but the most important tip, and that I didn't even include in this, is test. Honestly, give yourself time to test. Give yourself time to get to know the platform if you're going to do it yourself, because the more that you practice, the better that you get at Facebook ads. And so you won't succeed if you're only doing it periodically and you're just kind of like, oh, I don't really know what to do. I'm just going to kind of throw some money at it and hope for the best. You'll really get a lot of your knowledge and strategy from my group, Facebook Ads on FLEEK, and just trial and error. And so I have a gift for everyone that has joined us tonight. It's a free code, and it basically breaks down the anatomy of a high converting ad. So if you're nervous about really doing your own ads, if you've done ads in the past and they haven't really been converting like you want them to, I have something for you that, regardless of the industry, regardless of the market that you're in, it will transform your ads. So I want to give that to you. I'm going to drop it into the chat, and you all can take advantage of that.
While you type that, you already did. Average fees for a social media expert to do ads for a business person is Michelle's question. Do you have ideas about that?
Well, it depends. I don't want all my questions to be like, oh, it depends. Or my answers to be,
I'm the lawyer. That's usually my line.
But it really depends, because, but I will tell you, it's not cheap. There's a saying, and it applies to everyone, but if you really want to spend some money, hire an amateur, or hire cheap help.
Right.
So to get an expert is pricey. I'm not gonna lie to you. There are agencies out here who do done for you Facebook ad campaigns, and now Instagram campaigns, Google campaigns, all that stuff. But they charge a pretty penny, because there is a lot of work, strategy, and testing involved. So I can't necessarily give you a dollar amount, because again, it depends on the scope of work. But just know that you won't be able to pay somebody $2 and they'll do a good job for you in your ads.
And then you always have to keep in mind that you have to pay the cost of their labor and strategy and intellect and experience, plus the cost of your ads.
Absolutely.
So you got to keep that in mind as well.
Right. Which is why it's all the more reason to join my group and to take advantage of this free download, because it'll get you on the right path.
Yeah.
On the right for your Facebook ad campaigns, and so you can create ads that are on FLEEK.
Yeah, man. So definitely check out Courtney's group. Check out her ad, her link. Courtney Herring, thank you. I bow down to my friend, my sister, my business, my patriot at arms. Everybody, thank you all so much for joining. I'm going to drop the link. This is the herpowerhustle.com/Facebook, which takes you right into our Sister Power Hustlers group. Again, this is Her Power Plays. This is now going to be in every other week series. We were weekly. Thank you, Habiba, for joining. We were weekly for the month of December, kicking off Her Power List.biz, which is where we have our online directory for women entrepreneurs. The site had a little bit of an infiltration this week, so we are down right now, but you can join us on Facebook by liking our page. If you're a dude, we don't let guys into the group. We do love our brother power hustlers, and you can hang out with us on our Facebook page at Her Power Hustle. But in terms of coming into our group of women entrepreneurs who are serious and generous women in arms, who are entrepreneurs, side hustlers, and early stage startup founders, we are all in there supporting one another, sharing, gaining insight, much like Courtney's group. I mean, I'm going to take a little bit of credit because I think credit is due. That Courtney's group is like a little baby offshoot of the Her Power Hustle.
It is. It really is.
Because it really is a place where we can incubate ideas and share with one another and support one another financially. We buy from each other too. So please join us at herpowerhustle.com/Facebook, or you can search right on Facebook for Sister Power Hustlers. I am again Michelle Talbert, the host of the Her Power Hustle podcast every Monday. You can find us on iTunes and Stitcher. Courtney Herring, Her Power Plays guest for creating Facebook ad campaigns on FLEEK. You can reach Courtney at CourtneyHerring.com, and be sure, Courtney, drop that link one more again, please. Yay, great, Habiba. Thank you for joining our groups. We're looking forward to having you with us. We are also going to, like I said, bi-weekly as of January 5th, 2016. And we are coming out of the gate, kicking the door with the Fab 4-4 like Biggie, because Alea Williams, she is Swiss Army knife for small business and entrepreneurs. She is going to be talking to us about systems. We are coming in strong into 2016, getting you organized, set up. She has an incredible business planner. She's incredible with helping you get really organized so that you can optimize your business. So again, this is Her Power Plays. We would love to have you in the Facebook group, Sister Power Hustlers, Facebook ads on FLEEK. Thank you all. Merry Christmas. Happy Kwanzaa. Happy New Year. Anything that you celebrate, please enjoy it all. And we will see you in 2016. Bye.
Bye, guys. Thanks so much.
Thank you all.